Part 1. Cheating GF ended up obsessed and now is lost because I left her, and AP did the same after she tricked him. I'll provide a little background, then get into the story. I'll try to be succinct, but make no promises. I'm still really pissed off. So my girlfriend, we'll call her Audrey, and I met in high school. We started dating in college. We both came off brutal breakups and kind of gravitated towards each other in the moment. I love her deeply, but our relationship has been tough for sure. We both dragged a lot of baggage in, and our relationship is made of alternating rocky and smooth patches. She got accepted to a fairly prestigious coding school in April. I actually planned on applying to it, but received a job offer I couldn't refuse. She had just been let go from her job. I encouraged her to apply instead, and she got in. The thing is, she had a ton of debt from school and unpaid credit cards, so she had no money and her credit score was garbage. Her parents refused to help, so I co-signed a loan with her, about $14K, and I paid a $2,000 deposit to get her in the class, and about $140 a month as part of a loan agreement. I've spent a little over $2,500 for her. I also let her live in my house for free, and I've been buying her birth control and her other prescriptions and all her food, her shampoo, you name it. Over the summer, she started to get a little weird. They're all red flags now, but at the time, she had always had an excuse and nothing seemed particularly amiss. Changed the password on her phone, being aloof, quick to get annoyed, stuff like that. Now, the last few months or so, she's been driving into the city where her coding school is, about a 20-minute drive from my house, and staying there for days on end. I'll call the town Houston. This isn't in Texas, FYI. She kept telling me that gas was getting expensive, and she gets so much done while she's down there that it made sense. Some of the people in her class had a house together, and she said she would be staying with them. It started to be a problem because she would just go silent for 48 hours at a time, never returning texts or calls. We would fight about it when she finally came home, and then she would say things like, "I know it's not okay, I'm sorry, I'm terrible, it won't happen again." And then it would happen again. We also live in a state with legal marijuana, and she started smoking green tea all the time. Within a few months, went from rarely smoking to smoking multiple times a day. Wake and bake. Smoke before bed. Smoke to do homework. I did it with her a lot, but only because she would ask. I hardly initiated it. She kept getting distant, like I mentioned above. When she was home, she would sleep till 3 p.m., come down, get breakfast, go back to sleep. Wake up, spend an hour getting ready in private, then pack her stuff up and go back to Houston to work on stuff. She also refused to have sex with me. I think we've done it twice since April. She kept saying she wanted to have sex with me, but didn't want to actually have sex with me. A moment of hubris on Reddit. But I'm a fairly good-looking guy. I hit the gym a lot. I'm in good shape. I think I'm sexually attractive. Audrey kept telling me that her antidepressants were destroying her libido, and I bought another prescription for her to counteract it. It didn't work. She kept telling me, "Well, I wanted to do it yesterday, but I was on my period." Or, "Well, I wanted to do it, but you were already asleep, so I didn't." It got to the point that I said I didn't want to hear about her intentions, because they didn't mean anything to me anymore. I think you can tell we were having issues. But I thought they were temporary, and we were working through them. I thought the stress of class was pushing her to limits we hadn't experienced. But it's been 6 years. We've had way worse issues before, and I thought we were working on it. I wasn't particularly satisfied with our relationship, but I thought maybe if I could hold out, she could get a job after she graduated her school and get some money, chip away at her debt, feel fulfilled professionally, maybe help curb her depression, and I could get my old Audrey back. Depression Audrey has been a real hassle, but I love her and I wanted to make it work. I didn't want to abandon her just because it got hard. About 1.5 years ago, I broke it off with her because she was showing signs of codependency. For those who don't know, it's the person who derives all their personal value from another person. So she only feels pretty if I tell her she's pretty. She needs a person to validate her existence, etc. The manifestation of those feelings are nothing you do is ever good enough. They'll always find something you could have done better and nag at you and make you feel guilty for not doing more for them. They need to spend every waking second with you. Anytime you spend away, they'll resent you for it and believe that that time is for them. It was driving me crazy, so I broke it off and told her that the depression is getting too severe for me to handle. I needed space and she needed to try and work on her crap on her own. She went to therapy, was put on antidepressants, admitted that she knew what she was doing was wrong, but the depression drove her to badger me and pick fights with me and crave more from me no matter how much I gave. I thought, she's working to fix it. Why can't I? So we get back together. It's been 1.5 years of sex and cuddling and dates and movie nights and planning our future couple stuff. This is important because she mentions it later. Now to Labor Day. She had left Sunday night to go to Houston, like she usually has been. Her last words to me before I left were, "I'm almost done." She knows I've been frustrated with how much time she's spending away. The plan was that she would get a sweet job, we could move to San Francisco, and I could quit my job or work remotely, and she could take care of me because I have quite literally been taking care of her for 6 years. I kept calling myself her future stay-at-home boyfriend. I was obviously planning to get my own job, but I digress. She asked me to walk her to her car. She puckered up for a kiss, then left. The next day is Labor Day. I texted her asking if she had class today, and no reply. I then sent her a Reddit link that was of a hedgehog yawning, because she always wanted a hedgehog. Then a couple hours later, I get this message. "Hey, I am in love with someone else. I need to keep yours and my relationship strictly business, the loan stuff. If you need to talk about it, we will. In person only, please, but not today." It was hard to describe, but my heart imploded when I read that. 6 years, all the ups and downs, all the time she told me I was the only one who she could ever rely on. And all I get is a text? I called her. She didn't pick up. I texted back, "What the duck?" She said, "Or we can talk about it over text." I said, "What are you talking about? Is this serious?" She said, "It is." I said, "Who is it?" She said his name, and after a quick Google search, it turns out to be a guy in her class. The class I told her to take, the one I paid for. Then I asked, "Have you been sleeping with him?" She said, "Of course." Not going to lie, this one hurts. Of course. Like, duh. It's the simplest thing in the world. I said, "I don't even know what to say. How could you?" I then told her to come and get all her stuff out of my house and that it would be in the yard. She said, "We broke up over 1.5 years ago. How could I what?" I said, "This is kind of bullcrap to do over text." She said, "It's not bullcrap. I'm coming to get my stuff." Well, Reddit, she never got her stuff. It's sitting in my garage. She's supposed to stop by after class today to get it. I called her several times during this. She refused to answer. Stopped answering my texts after that. I assume this has been going on since summer. I'm disgusted. I'm angry. I feel played and used for free money and free housing and free food and free prescriptions. I have a text from last Tuesday, 6 days prior, where she said, "Ew, I love you. I miss you." Last Thursday, 4 days earlier, I have a text where she said, "Hi, hi, 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 hi," like she was excited to see me and talk to me. Then Monday, this crap. I sent her an email telling her I wanted off the loan. I wanted my $2,500 back for class and to get all her stuff out. She said she was coming today to get her stuff. She's working on the loan. She'll pay me back as soon as she can. Reddit, I don't know what to do. I'm angry. I'm mourning the loss of my relationship. I came to a realization that the person I knew and fell in love with is gone. She was replaced by this monster. She saw an opportunity at a better life and she took it. She'll get a new life with a new boyfriend, with a sweet job and move into a beautiful place. And it was all courtesy of my bank account. My friends have been super supportive during this, telling me that they don't even know who this person is that could do this stuff. That they thought she was being really weird the last time they've seen her. She was a completely different person now. I'm sorry if this is a little rambling. My ultimate question is, am I missing something? Am I crazy? My friends are in shock about how messed up this is. They've been asking their friends who don't know either of us. They think it's unbelievable. Yet it's happening to me right now. Is there a side of this I can't see because I'm too close? Her texts are so nonchalant, invalidating and negating the last year and a half, pretending like it didn't happen. Like we weren't together. She was living at my house. We slept in the same bed. Of course, she's sleeping with him. Like, what else would I expect? That I don't deserve a face-to-face conversation about any of this? Or even a phone call? Some advice on my options with the loan and money stuff is always welcome. Edit. Hi all. Things got crazy. Some weird crap happened. I am so drained. I'm going to post an update tomorrow. I did read all the things you guys posted. Some made me laugh. Some made me sad. I'll just say the power of Reddit is immense. The support is awesome. The suggestions were on point. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Now let's listen to some comments on this part from our Reddit listeners. Comment 1. I'd blow up her little world and tell the dude she has been cheating on both of you. I bet you she lied and told him you were an ex. She probably fabricated this whole story about you and her. I would tell him the truth for sure, and then she will come back to you after he finds out what's really been going on and rejects her. The money you gave her is pretty much gone. No way she will repay you. You're kind of screwed on the loan cosign. I'd consult a lawyer about that for sure. OP reply. I also thought maybe she didn't let him in on this whole thing and he thinks I'm a crazy ex. But the dude is a ghost. His social profile has no pictures, and they haven't been updated in months. No Facebook specifically. Comment 2. Short answer is you dated a psychopath and an absolute scumbag. Find this guy and tell him your side. He probably has very little idea of what's been happening, especially with her saying how could she what? She broke up a year and a half ago. Sounds like he found out something and she's trying to make it look like she's only been living with you. That would explain why she only wanted to discuss it in person. OP reply. So I've gotten some sentiment of cut all ties and also enter into an agreement with her to get my money back. My experience with her thus far in life has been that she would be good on her word for money, but now it seems her word isn't worth much. At the end of the day, my parents are my rock and told me not to worry about money. If I could just give her stuff back, walk away from the $2,500 and cut contact with her. Shouldn't I just do that? My worst case scenario is I have to pay the $15,000, which I could do and probably sue her for it. But it's in her best interest to pay the money back too, right? I guess I'm wondering if you guys think it's more important to get my money back or get the duck out. Keep in mind that the $2,500 is not insequential, that I put most of that on a credit card for her. I have about $5,000 racked up from all the expenses for her from the summer, and I kind of get paid like crap. But I suppose a lesson like this is priceless. A final update. Cheating GF told AP I'm her ex and gone crazy because now both AP and I are leaving her. Hey everyone, first off, I want to say thank you for all the support. The outpouring of emotions and suggestions was enormously beneficial to me. I laughed, I cried, I cringed. I mainly wrote my post to vent. I've always enjoyed writing, and getting everything on paper helped wrap my mind around things. I did not expect it to get nearly the attention it did. Some crazy stuff happened. I spent a long time thinking about how to frame this post. As with most things in life, the situation is not black and white. A lot of crap from our past that I thought we had moved on from got dredged up from the deep. It was impossible to frame the update without background. I'll give the update of what happened, then try to provide some context after, for those who care. So to the update. Turns out my original post made its way to the guy she's been seeing. I will call him Colin. I got a direct message saying, "This is Colin," and I instantly knew it was him, as I didn't even use a fake name in my original. He said a friend of his saw the post and recognized some of the text messages from Colin was telling him about it. Colin said he read my post, and if we wanted to talk, we can. So I gave him my number and he called me. Audrey had been lying to Colin this whole time about her current relationship with me. He figured out that she had been lying to him from my post. I clarified that she was definitely in a relationship with me. She lived with me. She propositioned me for a mouth 2 weeks ago, etc. Audrey told Colin I was an ex. We had broken up a year and a half ago, and we were still just friendly. Every time she was at my house, she told him she was at her mom's house. She had told me she was staying with a female friend in her class whenever she was in fake Houston. It was weird. I told him I wasn't angry at him. Even if he had known all about me and Audrey, it's not his job to uphold the sanctity of our relationship. It's Audrey's. He knew nothing about me, though. The reason the text messages were so confusing is that he looked through her phone on Labor Day and saw messages from me that were a little too cutesy to be just a friend. Obviously, because as he now knows, I was more than just a friend. So from his point of view, I'm this ex-boyfriend who's getting a little too friendly with his girlfriend, and he made her send me those messages. That's why they made no damn sense. He was staring over her shoulder, threatening to break up with her if she didn't do it. So the only reason she did break up with me at all, and did it over text, was because he made her. Those texts to an ex-boyfriend of 18 months make total sense. But from my point of view of a current BF, they were straight crazy. He mentioned that she was sitting by front door, the text typed up, and hesitating with her thumb over the send button for much longer than he would have liked. So that was sweet of her, I guess. The crappy thing is that I found out they've been sleeping together since May, which is less than a month after the class started. I can't tell you how much of a blow that was, to know that she was lying and manipulating me and this other guy all summer. Reddit, I can't convey how angry I am. To know that she was having sex with this guy for days on end and would come home and lie to me that her libido was gone because of her antidepressants and showed me no love, no sexual contact. But she got hers in fake Houston. All the time she ever told me that she would never cheat on anyone because she knew how that felt and how she would never want to put someone through that. How if there were ever another person, she would tell me before anything happened so I wouldn't have to be cheated on. The hypocrisy crushes my soul. She just made me feel bad all the time. It's so obvious when I look back. I like to say things in funny accents and make pervy jokes and say dumb dad jokes, and she would legitimately snap at me to stop it. I'm annoying her. Cut it out. Shut up. She spent months making me feel bad just being myself, then goes off and cheats on me, consistently, repeatedly, with the same guy. Falls in love with him. She spent months living in my house, eating my food, going to school on my dime, making me wait hand and foot on her, requesting food, asking that I take her out to dinner, get angry if I didn't want to cuddle because it hurts my shoulder, text me she missed me, text me she loved me, told me she would be done with school soon and we could start a new life together in San Francisco, and she would get a sweet coding job and take care of me and our life would be amazing. And then she would drive off to fake Houston and have sex with Colin. For 5 months, she did this to me. Turns out she was telling Colin about their fantastic future in San Francisco too. Colin told me that Audrey had mentioned she was going to her mom's house to pick up some stuff. In my original post, I mentioned she was coming yesterday to pick up her stuff from my house. He said he would like to come over with her so we could all sit down and talk together. My buddy came over just to be a third-party witness to everything. They showed up together and she got out of the car. It was obvious she had been crying. She looked really upset. He came up and we shook hands. As per some advice I got, I wrote a crude contract that just said, I'm Audrey, I owe OP $2,500, and I take full responsibility for the $16,000 left in the loan, and made her sign it. Colin and I sat there and talked as she moved all her stuff into her car. It was awkward for sure, but Reddit, I think he's a cool guy, and just collateral damage in this whole thing. We kind of exchanged notes about things we had noticed, what she was saying to both of us. where she told us she was at when she wasn't with us, things like that. Again, super awkward. She's silently moving her stuff, and she had a lot of stuff. She ducking lived here, and we're just kind of talking crap about her. We then go inside. I ask for my key back, and I ask if this was the first time she's cheated on me like this, and if there's been anyone else. She said Colin was the only one. I asked her what exactly her plan was for all of this, and she said she didn't have one. She was just winging it. She didn't talk much after that, and Colin didn't talk much either. I kind of vented at her. It was probably a million times worse because Colin was there than if I had only saw her by myself. She eventually told me that she resented me for stuff I did in the past and that she could never really get over it. She was so afraid that she couldn't make anything of herself without my support that she couldn't leave me. So I said, "To be clear, you're telling me that for the last year and a half, you've just been using me for my money?" She said, "Yes." The only other thing of value, she said, was that she was sorry this happened. She knew what she was doing was wrong, but she did it anyway. She said she was sorry she wasn't strong enough to tell me she didn't actually want to be with me sooner. She basically sat there silent through the rest of it, saying a couple of things here and there. I think it was a deer in the headlights thing. She got caught. She had no idea what to do or say. She was completely unprepared for this moment. For those with justice boners, here are a couple of my one-liners. I almost had a brain aneurysm on Monday when I found this out. You have no idea what this did to me. I was your rock for years. I was the only one who stood by your side. When your friends abandoned you, when your parents didn't support you, and now you just threw me away. You're the one who did this bad thing, and you'll have to live with it the rest of your life. You went from 2 boyfriends to 0 in 2 days. You got to sleep in this guy's bed the last 2 days together. I slept here all alone. She kept sticking to the story that we'd been broken up for a year and a half. I told her that was children's logic. She broke up with me a year and a half ago to work on some of her issues. But we got back together in a couple of weeks. It was always just a break. At the time, I asked her that because she broke it off with me. She should ask me to be her BF. I only realized recently that she technically never did that. And I think she's been hiding this loophole like a technicality. I told her this isn't a court of law. There were no loopholes. She doesn't get to sleep in my bed with me for 18 months and pretend we're not a couple when it suddenly becomes convenient for her. Like I said, she said it 2 or 3 times that we have been broken up for a year and a half, and that I'm not always supportive, etc. I told her that if she tried to duck me on the money, I would sue her. She got snotty and said she wouldn't do that. I noticed her codependence seemed to have been getting better during the summer. I thought maybe school had given her some purpose, drive, that maybe she was coming out of this depression thing all these years. I now realize that the reason her codependence seemed to be getting better was that she had transferred some of it to Colin. I feel really bad for Colin. When he spoke, it was to point out various times he noticed her sketchy behavior. He also noticed her change the password on her phone. He's a less trusting person, though, and he explained how he wanted to know why she did it. He noticed that Audrey was ignoring him when she was with me, etc. He mentioned how he's been in a situation similar to this before, how he seems to get totally screwed over by people, and he has trust issues. He really had no idea what was going on, and she had the wool pulled over his eyes too. He is an innocent bystander in all this. He also broke it off with her. I want to take a moment to say that a piece of me loves Audrey, and always will. A piece of me hates her now too, but the piece of me that loves her told her that she is sick. I said that she needed help because someone who thinks this is okay is really sick in the head, and she needed to go to therapy. I made her go to therapy about a year ago because her codependence was getting really bad, and that's when she was put on antidepressants. She stopped going right around when she got into the class. She said that she knew this whole time this wasn't okay. I simply replied that she did it. Therefore, a little piece of her did think it was okay. Colin also agreed that she needed to see someone professionally. Codependence is a serious ducking illness. She knows what she did was wrong. I know she did. I could see it in her eyes. She's a good person, Reddit, but this illness drives her to do things she objectively knows are crazy. She can't help it. She's not innocent, and this is all ducked up, and I'm not defending her in any way. Deep inside, I know there's a good person just clawing to get out, and I truly hope that with medicine and therapy and time, Audrey can get better and have a beautiful life, but it will be a life without me in it. Now you'll notice I wrote above, her reasoning was she didn't want to be with me because she was resentful. First, I believe her codependence made her be with me, even though she didn't actually want to be. She is too afraid of being alone, and she's been looking for a way out for 18 months. Colin was the first opportunity that came by, and she grabbed it. This relationship has been hard on me, and if she had found true love and wanted to leave me, I could handle that. The cheating, the lying, the manipulation, and the money makes this unforgivable. Second, in a gesture of good faith and honesty, I'll explain why she's resentful of me. Reddit, I'm not a bad person, but I did some bad things. When Audrey and I got together 6 years ago, I was in a really messed up place from my previous ex, and I didn't treat her well. I had a history of infidelity, and it went on for a while. It was a few instances, nothing emotional, just drunk at a party stuff. I'm not trying to trivialize it, but it was never any kind of extended affair. I ducking hate that I did those things. I hate myself a lot because of it. I told her about it every single time, and she would forgive me and take me back. 4 years ago was the last time it happened, and that was when I realized what a piece of crap I was, and that I didn't want to be that kind of a person. So for 4 years, I have tried to make up for what I did. Maybe I deserved this after all, putting that sweet girl I knew back then through that crap. Maybe I caused these issues to surface, exacerbated. I am no saint, but if the last 4 years count for anything, I still did not deserve this. When we decided to make this thing work 4 years ago, I asked very pointedly that if this was going to work, she would have to forgive me. If she didn't think she could truly forgive me, then we would be wasting our time. She said she did, but apparently she was lying. That was her reasoning behind being able to do all this, because of the crappy stuff that happened in the beginning. She could never forgive me, but she needed me, and that's why she stuck around. Like I said, maybe this is my karma, and maybe I had this coming for a long time. I just know that either way, my world erupted the last couple of days. I thought that stuff was in the past, that we had moved on from those things. That's why I didn't mention them in my first post. I truly didn't think they were what was driving all of this. Maybe that's naive of me. But 4 years is a long time. I've been nothing but caring and supportive and the best damn boyfriend I could be. I'm a different man. And 4 days ago, I thought Audrey was the girl I was going to marry, and god damn it, we had a hard beginning, but I was going to fix it. I was going to fix her. She was going to get better because I got better, and so she could. I guess I was wrong. I'm starting therapy tomorrow, and I'm minimizing contact with Audrey just to the lone stuff. Not a happy ending, but an ending nonetheless. We've reached the end of this story. Let's listen to some of the comments by our Reddit listeners. Comment 1. She's not a good person. Good people do bad things, but I don't think good people use their significant other for 18 months for money. Claim illness, whatever, just move on. You do not deserve this because you treated her poorly at the beginning of your relationship. That's almost the same logic as her applied loophole. Therapy will be good for you. Good luck. Comment 2. I kind of feel for you, but at the same time, your previous cheating really was what broke the relationship. No matter what anyone says or how hard they try, it's really not possible to completely trust someone again after they cheat on you. At best, you manage to keep their worry at bay by being understanding and accommodating in the fact that they have no reason to not trust you. She should have been honest about that and not used you for a place to stay while she went to school, for sure. That was crappy, but you definitely have your share of the blame. Comment 3. You deserve this. You lied and betrayed somebody, and now you know exactly what that feels like. This whole thing is totally bullcrap. When you cheat on somebody, you don't get to set any conditions. They do. And one of those conditions may be hurting you until you grow some empathy for their situation. Team Audrey here. Update. Hello, Reddit. As I expected, Responses were swift and ducking brutal, though I did not expect even this many people to comment. I had no delusions that what I was posting would lead to a lot of people discounting my experience, or even believing that I myself am the bad guy and deserve this. I wanted to tell people the whole story, not just the story that only demonized Audrey. I guess it turned from a confusing breakup post to an "are ducked up" relationship post. To those who reached out because you are or were in a similar situation, my heart goes out to you. My choice of admitting my infidelity near the bottom was to get through the facts of the events and my emotions to those events. A lot of people see red when cheating comes up, and I wanted people to get through the story before discounting the narrator entirely as a piece of crap. I was not trying to bury it in my long post, as I rather hope people read the entire story before framing an opinion. This was just my reasoning, as some people seem to think I was trying to hide it within my public Reddit post. That being said, everything I heard about what a piece of crap I am is nothing I haven't already told myself. There is nothing I can do about what I did. It's in the past and irreversible. I do believe people can change, and bad people can become good people. I think I've gotten better, but I've got a lot more to go. All I can do is keep moving forward with my life and make better decisions. Some of you were a bit more productive with your beatings, more tough love than street mugging. A couple of points really hit home with me, mainly that I have some serious codependence issues of my own. Every time I knew I was bad for her in the beginning, or I just knew she was never going to forgive me and we were a ticking time bomb, I kept going on. The couple of times we broke up, I went back after only a couple of weeks because I got lonely. I ignored all the red flags. I had a pity party moment and went through all my texts since May, when Audrey started sleeping with Colin, to read all the times she lied to me or made excuses. It was an exercise in pure masochism, and seriously wouldn't advise. Turns out I got really drunk on July 3rd and texted her asking if she was cheating on me. I knew something was wrong. I had to get wasted to get the courage to face that fear. Her response should have told me it all, but I chose to ignore that too. One comment mentioned that I was 18 when all this started, and really just a dumb ducking kid. It's been ducked up, and from both sides. I realize that I don't really know what a truly good relationship is. I've never been in one. I know my post was long, and some think I tried to muddle the issues with an essay. For simplicity's sake, I wanted to say that I believe two wrongs don't make a right. I did some bad crap. I thought we were past it. We weren't. Then Audrey did some bad stuff back. That's what happened. I ducked up for sure. But at the end of the day, this crushed me, and I think what she did was wrong. And conning me is a bad thing to do, especially to Colin. It might be hard to digest, but 4 years is a long time. I know I can't really convey the healing that I thought Audrey and I had done within that time when all your context has the incident separated by just a couple of line breaks. Think about where you were 4 years ago, summer of 2011. Stand there in your mind, traverse that distance in time and space, and maybe you'll have a better hint of how this could be shocking that she was never over any of this, despite leading me to believe she was this whole time. Maybe that's impossible to ask strangers online to do. It's easy to look 6 inches up your screen and scream, "But look what you did, hypocrite!" A lot of people claimed I was up on a high horse and called me horrible, and I deserved losing my money, and I deserved the heartbreak. Maybe those things are true. Maybe they're not, but they sound like things coming off their own high horse. Just some clarifications. I don't know for sure, but she claims Colin was the first instance of cheating. It started in May. 18 months was when she initially broke it off to work on herself, and we got back together, though to her, unofficially. Her statement to me was that 18 months ago, she didn't want to get back with me, but needed me to help make something of herself. Colin was opportunity number 1 in those 18 months. Some of you are using 18 as the duration of the affair. I know I'm on the hook with the bank for the money if Audrey doesn't pay it back. I wrote up the simple contract as a way for Audrey to officially state, if OP ends up paying for this, I will pay him back. I also promised to pay back the $2,500 he already put. It's more of a separate agreement for after all the official bank business settles. I had a lawyer friend look it over and he gave me some edits. He said it's enforceable and I could sue her with it to get my money back. I'm looking for the money for the classes back. It's too much of a cosmic mockery that I paid for her to get it on with Colin for 4 months. The other thousands and thousands I spent for the last 6 years, let alone the $5,000 I put on my credit card to pay for food and pills for the summer, I'm chalking up a life lesson paid for the hard way. As for Colin, I know he is the true victim in all of this. He built a 5-month relationship with this person, when in reality, he was just collateral damage and Audrey's revenge fantasy. He is a cool guy. He honestly seemed pretty put together about all of this. Like I mentioned before, he said he's been ducked over pretty hard by people in the past. His whole attitude seemed to be this crap again, goddammit, kind of vibe. To my knowledge, Colin has a really good job waiting for him once he graduates the coding program, and he'll be moving to another state. Top 3% income kind of.